Welcome to the first episode of Let's Go Comic Book Show. My name is Justin.
My name's Matt.
We hope that you enjoyed our last episode, which was the 0 episode, much like a 0 issue. Gives you a little bit of information, but you honestly probably didn't have to listen to it.
like the Ocho, but
it's like the Ocho.
The 0.
Yes, which is 8. So we're just going to jump right on into this. We had a tasty lunch, and we did some super nerdy things on our lunch. We basically raided the 99-cent store and bought a bunch of Lego Dimensions at a discounted price. How do you feel about that?
I have mixed emotions on it because some of that stuff I literally just spent like probably $25 on like a few weeks ago for my kids. So now I just
I literally got
$1
about
so
$100 and something of Lego Dimensions for $8.
Dude.
And
so on one hand, I feel really
rad.
good about that because that's awesome. But then I feel real not great about the ones that I already spent money on.
Yeah.
Oh, you know. So is
buy
technology.
now or wait later. You know, that's just how it is. So okay, so let's jump into some news that's happening. I'm just gonna scroll through some things that pop out to me. And one of the things is, have you ever like been excited about news and then you wait and you wake up a little early to hear about it, and then it's just like, oh. That's
like you're wondering, like maybe there's new comic books, or maybe someone's going to change their mind about taking away, digital copies of stuff. But
yeah, so Marvel says last week, oh, big news, January 26th, 7 a.m. You wake up and you're like, oh, they can talk about Phase 4. Is this going to be some casting news for the movies? Something cool
just
in the comics?
So many possibilities, and none of them were the one that we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, Inhumans, TV show stuff. Nope.
Anything.
Video game. Like, Marvel video games never excite me because.
Well, here's the thing. I'm cool with video game announcements, but don't make it sound like it's going to be something else.
Yeah, it made it sound like big announcement. So that was kind of.
Because even the announcement didn't feel like an announcement. It was like, hey, this thing is coming in the future, but here's like a few, like, pretty much just still kind of cool looking images. I don't know, man. It didn't
need to be wake up like a press release.
Hey, everybody get up in the morning and be ready for this announcement. It didn't feel like one of those announcements. It would be like, hey, tomorrow afternoon sometime, when you're feeling like that little bit of a dip in energy, this fits right in with that. Like, it should have been one of those announcements.
Yeah, but whatever. Wah, wah. So, okay, other news. So, for the Aquaman movie, so we actually had bigger news that hit, which was Ben Affleck's not directing Batman.
Dude.
Or The Batman, or whatever they're going to call it.
Whatever that guy that dresses up as a bat is going to be in.
Yeah, so...
How do you feel about that? You're a hardcore Batman fan, more so than I.
Yeah, it was really disappointing to hear. Like, usually those types of things don't, like, bug me so much. It's just that him being involved with that movie and even the whole DC universe gives it kind of a gravitas, and for him not to do it, that's kind of like, man, I feel like that's the only reason he was even cast as Batman, is because this guy's going to direct one of these movies, and his involvement's good. So, anyways, like, it's just kind of a bummer, and I don't want to like go too far into it because it's done. There's a whole lot of conversations to be had on it, but
yeah, but I mean,
it is what it is,
Do you feel like, I mean, and rightly so, I guess, like the DCEU, any news that comes out, like people just like pounce on it and like assume that everything sucks as soon as something changes. Do you feel like it's worthy of that?
Well, I think the track record kind of starts to inform that. Like, I would say, post, Batman versus Superman, however you felt about it, like, I was like, all right, like, Man of Steel was a little polarizing. People were like, I don't like, Superman breaking buildings. I mean, whatever. And then BVS was a little bit split. But then I think once, all the behind-the-scenes news started coming out, now everything is like, you're kind of like one eyebrow arched with all the news that comes out. And so I think I understand that. But at the same time, like, I don't... And I'm an equal opportunity fan. Like, I like Marvel, I like DC, I like whatever. I don't ever feel that negativity coming around Marvel films.
Yeah.
But they haven't really done anything to earn that. The closest was the Ant-Man stuff.
Yeah, I feel like even the stuff that... Oh, you mean like news-wise?
Yeah, like when the directors shifted,
Yeah.
There was like a little bit of like, oh, Marvel sucks. Everything's,
See, and even
produced the same way.
So let's talk about that for a second, because I actually Edgar Wright is like one of my favorite filmmakers, probably. I always come back to his movies and I just love him. So I was really bummed like when that happened, and it really cast a lot of doubt in my mind. Like, what are they doing over there? You know?
Yeah.
But that movie ended up being really great.
Yeah.
Like that was really good. And I think there's definitely, again, as like Edgar Wright, like fan, I definitely could see where there were certain moments where delivery, I was like, oh, that was probably one of his jokes, but it's definitely not delivered like the way he would have him deliver it. Does that make sense? So, I mean, outside of those things though, like I really enjoyed the movie. And so maybe
it was good.
Even subconsciously, like that's what's kind of making me not really feel super negative toward this news. Because I don't know, I subscribe to the fact, like, the theory that because we're so inundated with information all the time, like social media, anything you want to blame, whatever, but you have like this opportunity to constantly hear like all these micro updates to everything every day, where I'm like, dude, did we like, has all of this been going on before? I guess is probably the question I wonder sometimes. Like, is this a new thing? Like, oh man, you know, director left The Flash, you know, Ben Affleck's not directing, you know what I mean? Like all this stuff, like, has that happened before? Like what changes did Batman 89 go through? What, you know what I mean? It makes me wonder like what behind the scenes stuff do we miss out on before to where now we're so exposed to it. It seems like this huge deal every time.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of, you know, this is just the process that films go through. But I think the microscope is on this. I mean, there's a lot of people
for sure.
who, you know, all they do,
I didn't like
all
the
they do is
DCEU
update their Twitter feed, you know?
Yeah, and I didn't like the DCEU stuff more than you did. I actually probably liked them a little less. And so I'm not like saying like, you know, they've been great, let's give them a chance. But I'm just like,
oh, I definitely think they should fix stuff. And that's been kind of the news is like, oh, they're course correcting, which I interpret that as, man, we know there's a problem, we need to fix stuff. But there hasn't been any evidence of it yet because all
that's
that
the thing.
happened.
It's like, you got to show me that change is coming. Like having The Rock tweet the same line that everybody else is saying, there's hope and optimism. Like that's great, but
we really won't know it until I don't even think Wonder Woman, because that was already pretty much wrapped once like BVS was done. Like they wrapped that. But I think I know Jeff Johns did a little bit of a rewrite, but you know, there's also.
So you're thinking Justice League is probably the first.
I think Justice League is the one where you can really say, okay, this is what the future looks like. As of right now, it's just I hope Wonder Woman's good and I hope Justice League's good. And once they come out, if it sucks, I'm like, man, dude, that sucked. Like I don't know, but
I want to believe in this universe because I love these characters, but man, it's got an uphill battle, dude. You can't just talk about stuff. You got to show what your stuff's about, you know?
And that's the thing. My inclinations lean more into DC, where I'm like, oh man, that's my jam. But I love the Marvel movies. I'm not going to say that they're awful because I like them all. I mean, I have my issues with them, but you know, I think their villains suck. But I like Riot.
That's fair.
There hasn't been not all of them.
That's fair.
Some of them, but anywho. So we can move out of that. Like again, that could be a whole episode talking about the struggles of the DC universe. So.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other people having. More
but good news is they're casting for Aquaman. I mean, so you know, regardless of even if Justice League doesn't do well, Aquaman comes out after that. They just cast
seems
Black
like stuff's
Manta.
still moving forward.
They're looking to cast
Nicole Kidman
to
looks
play
like
his mom.
yeah.
So you know.
Which that's fine. I don't feel like I have strong feelings on Aquaman or Nicole Kidman. So
I wonder if Warner Brothers has their like eye on certain people for roles. Like Nicole Kidman was supposed to be in Wonder Woman, but then she couldn't be in it due to scheduling. So I don't know if it was Robin Wright Penn who took her role or the lady who's playing Hippolyta. But anyways, she was going to be in that. So sounds like there's certain people that are like, you know what, we're gonna place this person, put it in there. So anyways, you got any news for us, Matt? Anything that you want to talk about?
Another Batman-related, movie-related thing we're excited about. Lego Batman movie comes out next week.
Dude, that's my number one. I'm so pumped on that.
Gosh, so excited about it.
It's so fun.
What's funny is like it seems like we're to the point where everyone knows pretty much what's going on as far as like, hey, this movie's coming. Here's kind of all the broad brushstrokes. But now you get to a point in the movie, like kind of news cycle where it's like, and here's these random little bits of news that really don't matter all that much, but we're going to keep articles going about them.
Yeah.
And I think the one I saw today that was kind of funny is Chris Hardwick did a voice or voices for the movie.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, that's kind of cool. But I would say it's just kind of fun to, it's fun to guess sometimes.
Yeah.
If you could pick one character that Chris Hardwick was going to do the voice for, who would you say?
Oh man, probably Calendar Man.
Dude, I was thinking that exact same
Are you
thing.
serious?
Yeah, I was thinking
Is
Calendar
Calendar Man
Man,
in
or
this one?
maybe I think he could be like if there was just some like random like because there's going to be like all these random just like cameos where they're just in the shot, maybe
Yeah.
say one line and then leave or something like that. I don't know why I'm envisioning this movie basically being like a more tame version of Robot Chicken. Like just like
Yeah.
just to
No.
be something just so off the wall, dude.
Oh, I agree.
I think
I
that'd be
heard
great.
Kevin Smith is doing a voice too.
Oh, nice, dude.
So like, yeah, on his show, he just said that he's doing a voice too.
I would love to
Just
hear
recorded,
him
like, a couple weeks ago.
do his impression of Tom Hardy's Bane. Like just Kevin
Just him
Smith
being
and Tom
Bane.
Hardy, yes.
That's funny. Yeah.
But yeah, that's just goofy news. Like,
Yeah. But nothing like the solicitations haven't come out yet. Last week's or last month solicitations for like April came out. And so one of the things that came out, and we wanted to talk about this, was Superman's new costume again.
yes.
So what do you think about the new Superman costume?
So do we have a running list of what the actual changes are? Because you've been reading the
Yeah.
Rebirth book. So for me, like this seems to be taking some elements of that classic like pre-New 52 costume, but then adding just a couple things here and there from New 52.
Yeah,
I think the
also-
biggest thing for me is red boots are back.
Yeah, red boots are back, and then the metal like arm cuffs are gone.
Yes.
So it's pretty much back to the classic suit minus the trunks. So-
Right, but they still have the red belt to kind of break it up.
No, I think the belt's going back to yellow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, I think that yellow is a better split. So which is funny because he actually had the new 52 suit in 2011, and then when John Romita Jr. came on, he kind of designed the suit a little differently too. He did some minor tweaks.
It was a little less like all the different pieces of armor and stuff, right? It was like a little more streamlined when he did
Yeah,
it.
it kind of gave like a little bit more of the piping. It got rid of the armor look, put some of the piping in, but the hands came down even lower.
Yeah, which I feel like is a pretty classic like Jim Lee like 90s era kind of thing, like and their sleeves go down into fingerless gloves.
Yeah, it's, I don't understand that, but
So which is fine. I mean, and I'm not like a purist when it comes to costumes. For me, like it's just got to make sense,
yeah,
Like so I feel like Superman like does really well when you just stick to pretty iconic. I feel like it's just kind of riffing on the same thing, like not a complete reboot. But I'm open to other stuff. I feel like that there's a reason that one's enduring for some.
yeah.
For some,
I think keep it simple. The new suit, yeah, it's bringing a little bit of the yellow out in the belt, but it still has a primarily red belt, kind of informing the red trunks, I think. But I think it's good. I think the high collared armored look just didn't work for Superman. He looked more of he looked too much of like he was a space policeman with that collar.
I was almost going to say it was almost like militaristic,
Yeah.
which I'm like is not the vibe I get with Superman.
Yeah.
Like he's the dude that can mess you up, but chooses not to most of the time.
Yeah, I just didn't like it. And the armor plating, like the suit kind of energizing and appearing on him, kind of felt weird. It felt like Iron
Oh
Man.
yeah, but I feel like that didn't last though. That was like
I just don't think
real
it was mentioned
short-lived.
much. And I think Superman's suit being underneath his regular clothes, it's classic. It makes sense. And
Yeah. Can I
don't
ask
have
you
an
though?
issue with it.
Are you pro trunks? Like, do you miss the trunks? I know a lot of people feel very strongly about Superman's underwear.
Yeah, no, I'm actually I don't mind the trunks not being there. At first, it was just because it looked weird, like you needed that space there. But yeah, I think it looks fine without the trunks, as long as there's something breaking up that space. I remember in actually the late '90s, Batman lost his trunks. That sounds funny when you say it. I know it was post him returning from, once Batman
after
broke his
Nightfall?
back. It was after Nightfall, and after Azrael Batman, like they had this thing where, Batman went away for a little bit, and then he came back and his suit was all black. He didn't even have blue boots. He actually had these like the arm prongs on his legs as well. And I think that last couple issues they were like starting to refine it, and it went basically to gray bodysuit, yellow belt, black cape, no trunks.
Okay, but doesn't he not have trunks now though?
But
Didn't
those
get
went
dropped
back.
with
They went back. So what happened was
with New 52? They were dropped.
No. This is like again like 90s, probably late 90s. So then once they did the thing No Man's Land, he went to the big black bat suit. He went back to his classic like big utility pouch like belt, black trunks. So the trunks came back after the Gotham earthquake story.
Almost like a Neil Adams, like.
Well, no,
kind of
but
vibe?
like no more yellow. That's when the yellow and black went away. He went
Got
to the
it.
big black bat symbol.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, yeah.
kind of around 97 because when they did the new animated series, they kind of went to the big black bat in the suit
Right.
too. So that was the first time like I was like, oh dang, they ditched the trunks, and it was kind of a big deal. So, but anyways, yeah, I think the trunks just, that was a long time ago. That idea that what it was inspired by, but I like the suit without trunks. I'm a no trunks kind of guy, dude. Take them off, dude. Take off them trunks.
That's what I hear.
So, anyways,
Well, with that makes me think of like another thing I know we've talked about bringing up on the show, and that's just superhero costumes in general, and what's working and what's not, and maybe a little bit of what that looks like to have it kind of change over. Cross over into other mediums.
yeah.
So what would in your mind? What about this? Give me one current like comic book costume like redesign that you think works, and one that's a redesign that doesn't. We could start there.
One that works. Well, one that works. I love the Miles Morales Spider-Man suit.
Dude.
Just the red and black's just such a cool color combination. Sometimes it's more associated like with like a villain like kind of color scheme, but it just works. It seems like if what a kid would make, like, oh, I'm gonna make a black and red Spider-Man suit. I don't know, it just
Yeah, totally.
so I think that works. It's it's obviously not being done on film yet, but I think it would look really rad. I think it looks awesome. I would probably reverse the red on it though. Like it's
Make it the red with the black lines?
yeah,
Interesting.
just for the purposes of film. That's kind of what I would do. But yeah,
I feel like it works artistically. Like I've just seen with that, and I would say Spider-Gwen kind of falls into the same category where an artist really takes advantage of like negative space.
yeah.
So you're just seeing that like web detail on the costume because everything around them kind of matches. You know what I mean? For Spider-Gwen, if she's on a white, field, or Miles if he's on a black one, like I think it lends
Yeah,
itself
it
to
does.
really cool artistic possibilities.
But I think that works better on like in print than it would be like in film.
like it needs to have like the texture of a basketball.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's weird. But
And maybe some Oakley lenses.
some
instead.
Oakley lenses,
Yeah, dude. That's probably the way to go.
Yeah, but a redesign I don't like. I don't like the new Batman costume in the comics. I don't like the purple.
Oh,
the
yeah.
purple
We've
cape.
talked. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so
Here we go.
yeah, man, the purple cape just doesn't seem like. I like when costumes feel like they're intentional. Like Batman, I don't think he's like going, oh man, I need to get some purple in that. Like that doesn't seem like a choice Batman makes. Batman's like, hey, I need to hide, need my black cape and my bodysuit, dark gray. That helps me blend in the shadows. There's no reason like story wise or anything like why the inside of his cape is purple. Just doesn't make any sense to me. And I hate his belt, how it now points down.
So
like
how
if he
do you-
sits, it's gonna poke him in the balls.
Because here's the thing. I'll ask you this, because we were just talking about Superman's costume, right?
Yeah.
And how we like it. Nowhere in that conversation did it come up the idea of like an in-story, in-universe reasoning for the change. Like we didn't talk about it. There might be there.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know what it is.
But we haven't talked about like, well, he needs the belt because it serves this purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you is that something that's important to you with any costume, or is that like a Batman specific thing?
I think in any costume, because some of the things that don't make sense to me, like if we want to go back to New 52 stuff, like when they redid like the Green Lantern costume, they didn't really do much, but they added this weird line stuff on his shoulders. For what purpose? There was like, if his costume is generated by light and constructs, like why is there this weird line on his shoulders? And it just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I think,
And,
I just don't take that.
it doesn't take
at
away
all.
from the enjoyment of the character, but I just think the purple is a little just more, it's more ridiculous to me. Like I don't even like the yellow outline on the bat symbol. I just don't, aesthetically, I don't like it.
I think here's my take on it. I don't get hung up on like an in-story reason. Like I don't really care that it makes sense, if it makes sense or not for Batman to wear a bat suit or to have long ears or short ears. I think it all, like you have to convince me that it makes sense like artistically, right? Because it's a visual medium, and so obviously some of those choices like they're just going to be visually aesthetically pleasing choices, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say in that sense, I really like the purple under the cape just because I feel like, again, like the artistic possibilities, there's some really cool stuff for it. I get it, but I don't think it's a problem they've brought up in the comic. Do you know what I mean? Like there needs to be internal, there needs to be internal consistency, I think. So if they bring up a reason for his costume, then okay, you're kind of stuck and we have to make sure that it makes sense according to that. But if you don't bring it up, then dude, it's Batman and his costume looks this way. Like that's how I feel. I'm pro purple under the cape.
Cool. And that's, I mean, I think that's fine. Like it's not like I'm not going to buy a Batman comic because of it. It's just, it's my preference. If I was the colorist on that book, I would
Now, would they do that? Do you think that would transfer to film at all?
Oh, I think it would look stupid on film.
It would look horrible.
Yeah, it would look terrible. It would look absolutely terrible. And people would go, why is this cape purple? Like, when I first saw that design, I was like, why is this
I feel
cape
like there's
purple and why is this belt black?
There's like some flexibility,
highlights?
though. In comic books, for some reason, there's like a certain amount of, okay. Yeah. Like, let's see how it goes. Like, that's the design.
And it depends on who's drawing it, too, to be honest. Like,
how, like, prominent the purple is.
Yeah, but anyway, all right.
Okay, so another one we talked about that I think we don't quite agree on either is the new Daredevil costume.
Oh, yeah, I don't like the new Daredevil costume.
So,
sorry.
So for, I mean, I would guess most anybody who's going to listen to this probably knows already, but the history of like Daredevil's costume primarily, other than short stints, in other colors, is fully red.
Yeah.
You right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is like some precedent for him, right, to have black in his costume in the past. It's usually not associated with great things.
Yeah, there was just that one time, like in the 90s, where he had this armored.
I feel like there was one other time.
And then when he was like the kingpin of New York, that's where he was possessed. Probably about 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's one, but I feel like there was one like way, way earlier. Like when they were still figuring out, like before he had like the 2 D's on his chest and stuff like that.
It was brown and yellow. Like the first costume he ever had.
Which, I mean, yeah, that's part of it, and that's a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe this is from 2015. I'm pulling up here.
No, so, here's like a great, like...
Yeah, I guess the
Shadowland,
Frank Miller
the
stuff,
suit.
like he had obviously that makeshift black suit.
So
yeah. So
Shadowland. See the Frank Miller like one.
That's like sense. Makeshift. They made it to. So you have that pulled up there. So what? Yeah, I think especially because so we haven't read like this new run of Daredevil yet.
No, not yet.
Because that's all still coming out, but. I think it would make sense. We were talking about like this change might be to kind of bring him in line with something that's going to work on film.
Okay, like on the TV show. See the TV show costume,
which that one changed for season 2. It was mostly black. I feel like season 1, and then it had a lot more red in season 2.
Maybe it was only on one episode, so you only get that one episode of.
Well, but you see this, like it's definitely mostly black.
Yeah.
Because those were like the armored parts.
That's true.
I felt like that changed a lot for the second one. But do you think like this is like a synergy kind of thing? They're trying to be like, well, we can't have him wearing a bright red suit on film. So what if we just make that adjustment?
I don't know, man. I really don't. I feel, what I've always thought is his buckles at the bottom of his suit almost inform the idea of 2Ds. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I never caught that.
Yeah, I was kind of thought, is that what that is? But yeah, anyways, the Daredevil suit on Netflix, the show, I don't mind it so much. I kind of wish it had, I wish it was all red, but that's just me. I wish the D's were on there, but that's all. It almost goes in the face of what I was saying about the Batman suit.
That's what I was just going to say. Like, so what about in story? This dude's hiding in the shadows, doing backflips and stuff and trying to sneak up on people in a bright red suit in New York. How would that work practically?
Because what's his face? What was the guy who made his suit? The bad guy who throws the blades. Can't think of his name right now.
Stiltman.
Yeah, not Stiltman. But he just puts the D's on there, like thinking it's, hey, I added some D's on there. If you're a Daredevil, like what? Well, whatever. Like in story, that would work for me. That would 100%.
Well, yeah, that's the letters, but you didn't answer the question about the red, dude.
The red?
I think the black makes sense. If they're setting him up like a Batman character, let's be honest, in the Netflix show, right? Like he's kind of like that vigilante, kind of walking that
the
line.
Red because he's Daredevil, like the Red Devil. Like
I'm just saying, dude.
Yeah.
Do you want an artistic reason or do you want a story reason?
Artistic. I like that. The character is what color is a bat? Brown, gray, black.
Yeah.
I've never seen a purple bat. There you go. Question answered. There
Touche.
you go. Touche. All right, so let's move into some comics. We got comics today.
Yes.
And first off, we got a free issue of The Walking Dead today.
Yeah, dude.
What was up
I'm
with
not sure
that?
if every shop is doing that or if they're charging 25 cents.
Yeah, our shop was giving them out, and it was a 25-cent issue. I think they were just kind of like, hey, today you're going to get issue 163. So for it's the 25th anniversary of Image Comics. So I think Image was selling certain things for 25 cents.
Right on.
And so today our shop just decided, hey, you're going to get Walking Dead 163 all day. And
Are you following Walking Dead like normally?
I was off and on. I was doing it digital for a little bit, and then I bought the last issue I bought was probably about like 6 months ago, and I actually liked it, but I was like, I'm just gonna wait for the story to continue, and I'm gonna buy it. I just like reading Walking Dead in chunks because it's so, for me, it gets so like I get so wrapped up into it. I'm like, oh man, I want to read it in a chunk. It's just better for me. I'm
gonna be honest, dude. I've never purchased a Walking Dead comic book.
Really?
I feel like
Have you read any of them?
maybe that makes me a bad
No.
comic book reader.
Have you read any of it?
Yeah, I've read some of the collected, volumes.
Okay.
I read a decent amount. Like, I think that probably got me through pretty close to issue 100. Like, I read through a lot of those in chunks. For me, like, I get that it's well done and people are digging it and that some of the characters are cool. It was just a little too much for me, man. Like, not like I can't handle any of the violence and stuff, but
wow,
reading that all in a chunk, I just felt like bummed out. Like, whenever I would finish reading the story, like, dang, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not that way for everything, but I think it's just, for me, Walking Dead just seems like this relentless, like, descent into like misery that is like fine for like, maybe like if I go see a movie, like I like scary movies or maybe a sad movie, but that's like, a couple hours and that story's done. And it's not like, hey, every day you're going to read this and it's going to make you feel more and more hopeless about humanity.
Well, that's why you balance it out.
That's just me, man.
With something else. Like, okay, so I got that. I got Superman 16.
Yeah.
Batman 16. And Commandy Last Boy on Earth Challenge. I forget the title. Number 1. So that came out last week, but I didn't get to the shop last week. So I'm excited about that. I'm gonna read them comics and talk about them.
Dude, yeah. And we still need to catch up from last week's comic.
Got so much to catch up with.
Gosh.
But
so, yeah, I know we've talked about it before, but share comics, man.
Yeah.
It's a good way to be able to read more without just completely trashing your wallet.
Yeah, comics are so much cheaper when I can read Matt Richey's comics. Like, how many comics did you read? I bought 3, but in actuality, I read 8. So
yeah, and so what I got today was Champions number 5, which features Gwenpool, which I'm not like familiar with her at all, but why not? Not everything, that's not fair, but a lot of things I would say in Marvel lately are either Deadpool or Gwen Stacy, and so it would make sense that they would just combine that all together into another character. So Gwenpool apparently is
probably
guest starring. I don't know if she's
from another universe. She's like,
that's what I thought.
That's where Spider Gwen's from. So
do those rules even apply to her? Like, can she just, if she's breaking the fourth wall, can she just go wherever she wants?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
Who knows? But so I got that, and then I got I think it was last month's issue of Teen Titans number 3. So catching back up on that, and so got the 2 like teenage teams going. But I mean, I think those are always good stories. Not always, but most of the time I feel like they're at least like entertaining.
Yeah.
I feel like people take freedoms and kind of do different things when it's a team of like teenagers. It seems like there's more to work with than like Justice League they're all kind of set in who they are, and so it doesn't feel like, I don't know. There's just like a different energy in those, and then I feel like what matches that is the art style. Like it feels like a little more exaggerated, a little more fun, a little more bright as far as coloring and stuff like that. So I dig it.
I would say I'm more of a fan of the Champions book over the Teen Titans, which is...
Yeah, Teen Titans, I'm just kind of trying to give this first part of the run like a chance. So I'll probably give it like till issue 3 or 4 and see if it's going to grab me. Because I actually, I really like Damian Wayne as a character. I feel like he's really interesting. Like any character that you like vacillate so wildly between hating him and loving him, like that's always an interesting character.
Oh yeah.
But then also the new Kid Flash too, just trying to give him a chance too. Because I love the whole Flash universe, the Flash family. And so, man, I feel like it's a cool design. Like I like that they went back to the classic like yellow and red for him.
Yeah, that weird silver suit they had, the new 52 one.
I kind of checked out that back part of it once. Was that Brett Booth was doing the art on that run?
Does that part count still? Like,
well, because that was like an alternate future.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't okay. That's what I was wondering. I was like,
I think he saw that future, and so I think that's what freaked him out when he got his powers this time around.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. We should actually do a show just on the Flash legacy stuff because Flash is a really cool character, and the one cool part about it was kind of the family legacy.
Yeah.
Even the future stuff was kind of cool, like when it was Barry Allen's like nephew from the future. It was Bart Allen, but he also had it was like Wally West's kids had the Speed Force
the
too.
twins.
Yeah. So there's a lot
of stuff. By the time they got to Flash Rebirth a few years back, like there were a lot of characters to work with. And then that just kind of all went away.
They're all just named Flash.
New 52,
hey, what's up, Flash?
Unfortunately.
Hey, Flash. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like in every kind of different medium too, they really represent that well. And I feel like the Flash, I mean, I'm biased obviously, but I feel like he's always like this bright spot.
Yeah.
Like whether it's like Brave and the Bold did some episodes dealing with that. Young Justice did a great job with having that whole Flash family and stuff.
I think Young Justice did the best representation of it. Just getting the character
with every single one of them too, because when Impulse comes in on season 2, like that's one of the best, I feel like, presentations of that character.
Oh yeah. Me.
Did you read? Sorry, thinking about Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Did you read when Bart Allen was a part of it? When Jeff Johns was writing that?
Yeah, I think I actually read yours. I think
because
you had a collected. You had a collected trade.
I was getting trades. That was when I was starting to get back into comics, and I knew I liked Teen Titan characters, and so I was like, "Oh, I'll check this out. I heard it was good."
I was actually
got like 3 or 4 of those
comics,
trades,
and I think I dropped off. And wherever I dropped off, you actually bought a trade, and it was I think it was the story was like they met their future selves or something. Like Tim Drake was dead.
That was so rad. No, Tim Drake was.
Or he was Batman.
Batman.
Yeah.
They all were like the Justice League basically, but they were all. I mean. Obvious.
Yeah.
That was done cool, again.
Man.
Like they're all bad guys in the future, and how his future self, Tim Drake, is like telling him like, you don't even understand like how the world works, and he's really like just jaded and stuff. And that sent him on this whole thing of like, I'm not going to be Batman, which I think kind of informed a few years later when he did Red Robin stuff. So
cool.
But yeah,
all right.
I can go on about that a lot. So we can move on.
You know what?
Time is of the essence.
I wouldn't mind going on. So okay, I think we're gonna wrap soon.
Yeah.
We're going to try to keep these episodes weekly, if possible.
Yes.
So that's the best way to have a show every week.
Dude,
and
comics come out every week.
Comics come out every week, and I'd like
Why
to
not a comic show?
Every week. Yeah, right? So for right now, that is it. Matt, how can people look you up on the internet? They want to see you or talk to you. send you messages, pictures.
So you can see, man, we'll have to see how much that comes through. That would be Matt Richey, MatTrichey.
No T.
No T. Richey. There's 2 T's, but not in Richie, just in Matt.
Hey. On Twitter?
On Twitter.
And Instagram?
Yep.
Cool.
Both the same.
Awesome. And then you can hit me up on Twitter at J_Rocka or on Instagram at just JRocka, no underscore. Or just hit the at Let's Go Cast on social media, and that can hit all aspects of the Let's Go universe. Please listen to our original show, the Let's Go Cast. Look for that on social media and subscribe and be a part of that because we are all connected in the same multiverse. Indeed, this is the comic part.
One big happy multiversal.
There we are. We are one. That's it. We are one big happy multiversal.
Multiversal? Multiversial?
Multiversial.
Universal, multiversal.
That's confusing.
Yeah, that works,
that's
dude.
like X-Men confusing.
Yeah.
And there we go.
And like Joss Whedon, X-Men confusing. Grant Morrison, X-Men confusing.
What level of X-Men confusing?
Yeah, dude. There's so many levels to choose from.
Is confusing, but then he came back in the 90s and got confusing.
Well, there you go.
There you go. All right.
X-Men will do that to you.
And we will leave that with you. X-Men will do that to you. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.